Hello friends of the sun. So this is one of my updates on recent developments, and I haven't done an update for a fairly long time. Now it's a semester break and everybody talks about Dall-E and ChatGPT, and people promise a kind of revolution in the way content is produced. And certainly there will be more methods with this new kind of neural network technology. But the question is, how far is that really reaching? And I think this picture here exemplifies very well what these products can actually do, right? So you actually agree, yeah, now we finally have a collaboration with AI, and AI will really help us to produce all this amazing content. So let's have a handshake. And this is also my experience, like the eyes that I actually produced with Dall-E, so like pictures of philosophers, the eyes were horrible, they were nightmares. And surely it will get better in the future, but as long as we are not there, we should maybe not celebrate that. And I just remind everyone that I believe since 2016, people are expecting AI to replace radiologists, and it hasn't happened yet. Same for the legal business. People expected a lot of lawyers getting out of business, and it hasn't happened yet. So I think we need to see when the technology arrives. And what I have seen with respect to ChatGPT were a lot of enthusiastic reviews, professors putting like their exams in there and saying, yeah, ChatGPT, it just aced it, it's an A. And then we have such ridiculous videos of people doing a tutorial on how to use it. Like, how do you make a prompt? And then how does it answer that? How do you write a good prompt? Do we need an AI for writing a good prompt? So, and I think the enthusiasm is far out of proportion because I used it. I'm writing a book right now, a basic introduction to Western civilization for the Chinese market. And all the texts I could generate with ChatGPT, they were well written. Certainly the language is better than mine because I'm not a native speaker, but it was to a degree interesting, but it didn't create a flow that went beyond a student who deserves an A in my class. And so now why do I give A's in my class? Because I want to be nice to the students. To be honest, most of the essays that I get in these basic essay writing classes, they're horrible. Most of the time, even if they are an A. Of course, my task is not to discourage students and to have standards by which they cannot be measured at that age. They have to learn how to argue. But the arguments lack any kind of sufficient creativity. And I think many people, they don't learn how to, what do I mean by creativity? Of course, ChatGPT is creative, right? By creativity, I mean, give me something new, like an insight about the text that shows that you have reflective capabilities that are not just reproducing the text, that you relate the text to a mission of your life or to a mission of humanity. It's a little bit hard to express what I mean by that, but it should give your interpretation a special view. And what most people do and what ChatGPT does and what we also get good grades for example, at all these kind of GMAT tests when we write an essay, is like the standard is it well structured? And that's so stupid. It's just stupid. Because, yeah, I can say, well, on the one hand, we should build nuclear power plants. On the other hand, we shouldn't. Like, here are two reasons. That does not help anyone. It does not inform us in any way about nuclear. The only thing that you demonstrate is that you can show two positions without any meaning. You just show two positions. And that's what ChatGPT is doing. And then it also always includes mistakes. And then these professors come out of the woodwork who say, yeah, I just aced my essay. And why? Because they also write such harmless texts that have no dangerous thoughts, that have no creative thoughts, that have no life mission. And that's what education is most of the time. I mean, let's not be illusional, right? It just produces these students that spit out standard answers. And that's where we came with ChatGPT. I don't see a special book coming out of the feather of ChatGPT. And therefore this tutorial and crash course, you can watch it. It's exactly like catering this service industry that is the university right now. Now for Dall-E, there are some interesting videos that actually explain what is my problem with these texts. I cannot, like, it's a little bit harder to explain that with texts. I can just say, I sometimes ask it, yeah, write me something about Epictetus, about how he broke his legs. And then, I'm sorry, I cannot give you information because this is not secured. I say, yeah, I know, but tell me the story. Tell me what the story means. Forget it, right? And here's actually an exemplification with regard to Dall-E, what that means.
It is kind of jarring when it messes up some parts of something that seems so easy.
Yeah, so here we have like a messed up cat, right? You just say a man with a cat and then look at the eyes, right? That's what you get out of that very often. Let's look at it again.
That's pretty easy. So it is kind of jarring when it messes up some parts of something that seems so easy.
Yeah. And then, of course, it has some strengths.
Easy and obvious. But when you ask for a cat wearing a rocket booster, jumping over a man, watering his garden in space, it's like, okay, it's kind of amazing what it's able to generate from scratch to match the description. And then it's also not shocking when maybe it gets one or two of those things wrong.
And I tell you, like, I was thinking about for the book that I was writing, because pictures can be very expensive, and especially if you write a student's book, a textbook, right? You want to have like good pictures. By the way, I also have to say, like, most people just add pictures, right? Of course, the pictures have to be related to the text. That's another difficulty. But then I generated some pictures and I realized, nah, thank you. Beggars can't be choosers, right?
And just like that longer essay with a few incorrect facts. I expect these error rates to go down over time. Like, that's kind of the whole point of the...
Maybe it goes down. Let's celebrate when these error rates go down, okay? So that's my point. I don't know how these neural networks work. I'm not an expert, but I wonder if you can just train it with more data and then it suddenly discovers a standard for truth, right? But here's also another criticism.
These AI models advancing, but that's something I'll keep an eye on. The other thing though is credit. And this is something you may have seen pop up a little bit on social media lately, which is that AI steals art without consent, which here's what they mean by that. So the #1 app in the entire App Store right now is something.
Yeah, so I mean, he just explained some apps, but I think his point is that these AI models got trained with respect to the internet, and a lot of artists have put in like their artwork, and now their work just gets abused by being reproduced by AI. I don't think that can be solved. So I think this is a problem for an artist who's going to disappear with the mass application of such products. But I really wonder if it will replace. I have the feeling we still need artists to evaluate and to apply. So the job becomes more specific. But I also like this argument here of, what is his name actually? I think Adam Duff. Yeah, and he says, well, like art, like, so he actually had a picture here, like, I think, show me something like, I've forgotten, anxiety or something. He says, yeah, the picture is pretty good, but it's not what form art is. And I think he makes a very good argument. Let's listen to his argument here.
As an authentic communication tool between two people, it's a human-to-human experience. That individuality is, to me, sacrosanct. It's what makes art what it is. I don't just follow artists because I like what they paint. I follow artists because I like who they are. And
I think that's a very good point. Art will happen more on the individual level. Of course, there will be a lot of jobs disappearing because you can just get like an easy illustration maybe from Dall-E. Okay, but the artist is not going to disappear as much as the chess player hasn't disappeared. And according to him, art is a person-to-person experience, as much as chess is still a person-to-person game. Yeah, and if you are a bit more interested, they also had a comparison between the AI and their graphic designer, and the graphic designer just aced it. I mean, he needed more time, of course, but his proposals for the problems that they gave him were just way more specific and better worked out, better well done. I will link this video below. It's a good video to see how a graphic designer actually fights with AI.
And today
Oops. Yeah, this was basically everything that I wanted to say about AI, right? So again, I say, don't worry. Don't worry, AI is not replacing you. And not yet. It may in the future, right? I mean, I'm not denying that possibility, but I think the enthusiasm and the public applause that is given now to these programs, it's a bit too early. To be honest, I don't see how I'm going to use ChatGPT in my writing. I used it a bit, but I came to the realization that most of the time it's too superficial. Maybe I use it for generating like the content descriptions here, yeah, for tedious tasks. But the fact that AI is taking away our creative jobs, I don't think that's going to happen. And by the way, creative job is not that good after all, right? So if AI took it away, it would maybe not be even that bad, because see, now your humanity is not mined for its fine motoric skills anymore, but it goes way deeper into your personality, and you are mined for your creativity. That's what's happening in capitalism right now, and I don't think that's necessarily a pleasant experience. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say. Thanks for watching again. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe, recommend it to others if that is interesting to you. Other than that, I can only say live long, make more art, and prosper.